How about what I ate in a day? Because it's been a little while. So that's what we're going to do. What I ate in a day on a Monday. Why not? All right, briefly, this is my breakfast. I'm having 2 little egg puffs. I made these yesterday, did not film, I'm sorry. But essentially it's just some crumbled breakfast sausage, about a tablespoon of cheddar on top, and a scrambled egg with some seasonings, and that's it. So I've got 2 of these, so it's basically 2 eggs and maybe total like 1/8 of a cup or like 1 ounce of the breakfast sausage, and a couple tablespoons of cheese. And I'm having it with some black coffee. All right, just got to work. It is a Monday. I just want to, I've already shown you what I had for breakfast. Aside from that, I've just had black coffee and some electrolyte water. A moment that I just want to, and I know I've said this before, but this is one of those things. This is also going to fall into what I eat in a day. If you can, if you have the opportunity, when you're getting ready in the morning, when you are making breakfast, when you are meal prepping, when you're washing dishes, whatever it might be, vacuuming or taking a walk, whatever it might be, that is an excellent time to feast on information. I make a point every single day when I'm getting ready, when I am washing dishes in the morning, on my way to work, if at all possible, when I'm at work, I've got my Bluetooth earbuds in, and I make a point of taking that time to feed myself as much information as I can. So I have audiobooks and podcasts, and I'll watch YouTube videos and listen to interviews. For me personally, I find that to be a great way to learn more about this way of eating, the reasons why it's healthy. It gives me knowledge and information, and a little bit of ammo to be able to defend my position on my health and to defend my diet. It's given me an opportunity to have more knowledge and be able to have a confident conversation with my doctor. But it is part of your diet. It is part of your way of eating, is what you consume as far as your knowledge. And I'm not saying that you can't watch nonsense too. You can totally be entertained by nonsense or by whatever else you enjoy. But even if it's like a 10-minute video or like one of the 20-minute talks on like low carb down under or something like that, it is great fuel for the fire and great knowledge that you should try to consume, like a little bit every single day. And that is my tip. Pro tip. Consume some knowledge today. So that's also what I'm eating today. All right, time to go to work. Okay, happy after work time. I forgot to film my lunch, but I will insert maybe in here somewhere a picture of what I did take for lunch. I had 2 nice hearty slices of the brisket that kicked our butts over the weekend. It did turn out absolutely delicious, but man, I just don't want to ever commit to doing that ever again. But I did have 2 nice thick hefty slices of brisket and a handful of blueberries for lunch. So I'm sorry, I did not put that in there. Dinner tonight is also going to be brisket, so you will see that when the time comes. But I also just went to the grocery store by my house, and they have the hot house cucumbers, these guys, on sale 3 for $5. Usually when these things go on sale, and I know this as a produce manager, anytime they go on sale is when we get like the small sad ones. And they actually have like, these are the big ones. So awkward. So I bought 6 of them for 2 different things that we use these for. So One thing that we do is we peel these and slice them really thin and keep them in the fridge in a container that is a half and half mixture of white vinegar and water. They are a super refreshing snack, I guess, for the household. Everybody loves them with like a little salt and pepper on them. So good. I have had these since I was a child. But I'm also going to make a cucumber tomato salad tonight to go with our brisket. So I'm going to film that so that you guys can see that. But it is our kind of one of our staples for anytime we're having like a family get together or a cookout or anything, especially when we get into like spring and summer months. This is like number one on the list. It's above coleslaw and all of that kind of stuff. So yeah, I have 6 of these that I just bought. So I'm sure that looked absurd walking up there with like an armful of these massive cucumbers, but I will show y'all that salad when I prep that in a little bit for dinner. But in the meantime, I'm sorry that I did not film my lunch. And I have since also had an iced coffee with some of the vanilla flavored perfect keto exogenous ketones. More on that, I guess, at a later time. It is not something that is sponsored. Not even like a little bit. This is something that I am trying, honestly, during my work days to provide just a little extra bump in focus, as a shiny. Any bump that I can get on focus is nice, especially if I can do so without medication. So, anyway, I'm going to go pick up the kid, and then I'm going to head home, and then I'm going to make some salad, and I'm going to keep moving my hands around because that's what I do. And I will show you guys dinner. All right, see you in a bit. Okay, time to make cucumber tomato salad. And salad is very loosely quoted. So you need a large mixing bowl. I am using 3 of the large hothouse seedless cucumbers, 1 of these little pint containers of grape tomatoes. You also will need a mayonnaise of your choice. I use Duke's. You use what works for you. And then just salt and pepper. So first I'm going to go ahead and get all of the plastic off of these guys, and like magic, it happens fast. And then I'm going to peel them, and I just use a regular peeler and kind of strip down just the outermost layer. Now with cucumbers, just so you know, it's odd, but when you look at different tracking apps, there are more carbs in cucumbers that you eat with the peel versus once you peel them. Me personally with this, I just prefer them peeled. So that's why I do it this way. So now I've got them all peeled, and we're going to get ready to chop. So I just cut the ends off of the cucumber, and then I'm going to slice it in half as best I can lengthwise. By the way, that's a new coffee pot back behind everything because mine decided to die the other day, just out of nowhere. So we're just going to cut these into like little half moons, and they're about maybe like an 1/8 inch thick each slice. If you do them too thin, the salad kind of falls apart, and I like it to be a little chunkier and crunchy. So they kind of vary between like an 1/8 inch and a 1/4 inch thick. And so then I just break them apart as I throw them into the bowl. And listen, I'm not a chef, so my chopping isn't fantastic, but hey, at least I don't cut my fingers, so I'm doing all right. All right, 1 down, 2 to go. So we're just going to do the same thing, and then boom, like magic, the other 2 are chopped as well. And again, just kind of breaking those up, making sure that they're separated, because, you know, with them chopping skills, sometimes they stick together a little bit. Now, you can use any type of tomato. I just find these to be the best. I just cut them in half lengthwise and throw them in. You can slice them smaller. You can use regular vine-ripe tomatoes. It's also really good with heirloom tomatoes if you have access to those. So that's always a really good option as well. And so depending on how large of a batch of this I'm doing, I can do more or less. And honestly, like, nobody else in the house likes tomatoes but me, so I usually end up eating the majority of them out of the salad anyway. But I'm just going to go ahead and do this whole dry pint. and just cut them all lengthwise as we go. And now just to also discuss the mayonnaise, yes, Duke's mayonnaise is kind of dirty. So if you are someone that is avoiding seed oils, that would be one to avoid because it does have soybean oil in it. Being in the low country, Duke's is the only mayonnaise for me. And considering that I use very, very little these days overall, I'm okay with still keeping that one on hand. But in general, we just use very, very little mayo. So I'm going to keep the one that I like. And after 5.5 years keto, it hasn't bothered me at all. So I'm going to stick with the Duke's because that's what works. So now what we're going to do, I'm going to scoop in some of my mayo. And I am not measuring. So all of this is really going to be something you've got to kind of eyeball. So I'm assuming that's probably a little less than 1/4 cup per scoop. So we're probably looking between the two, you know, somewhere between 1/3 to 1/2 cup. And then very liberally salting this with kosher salt. And then also I'm going to very liberally season this with black pepper. And I like the nice fine ground black pepper. And I know someone has fussed at me before about black pepper being full of oxalates. And man, that's cool. If you want to avoid it, you do you. All right. And then after that, we're just going to mix. Okay. And this is something my mom has made since I was like a teenager. And it's just one of those things that, especially for like summer cookouts and stuff, it's just really like crisp and crunchy and refreshing. So we like to have it anytime we do like holiday dinners. We usually will make this. And it holds pretty well, but usually I'll make it the same day because the cucumbers will start to get soft as they sit over time. So all I'm doing is just kind of incorporating everything, stirring it all together. And the combination of kind of the guts of the tomatoes and the mayonnaise and the salt and pepper almost becomes like a dressing. And that's what kind of coats everything to make it extra flavorful and just gives it, you know, something going on. And it's not an overpowering flavor. I'm sure you could season this however you really wanted to, but for me, it's nice and simple and refreshing with just lots of salt and pepper. And of course, the Duke's mayonnaise alone has a lot of savory flavor as well, as opposed to being one of the sweeter mayos. So really, at this point, I think I tasted it and I ended up having to add a little bit more salt too. It wasn't quite salty enough for me. But yeah. That's it. That's the gist of it. And it's a nice low carb, easy, simple side dish that you don't have to heat up your kitchen with. You don't have to do anything crazy. So that is it, guys. Just some cucumber tomato salad, if you can call it salad. You know, it works for me. If it works for you, it works for me. I'm stealing a bite because it's yummy. Yum. All right, guys, here is dinner for today. So this is another 6 ounces of brisket, which is also about what I had at lunchtime, and a couple of large asparagus spears that have been put under the broiler with just a little olive oil, salt, pepper, garlic powder, onion powder, and some paprika, and a little bit of my cucumber and tomato salad. So this is dinner and I'm super excited and it's delicious. And Richard has the same thing because the boy's got to get his button gear. That video's coming, I promise.